I'm streaming. What? Alright. No coffee, but got some tea, which is kind of a bummer, but you know, had no time. So getting tea, because we had some hot water, makes it a little easier. But I put a little cream in it. I'm about to put some sweetener in it because I can't handle. Ooh, sorry that's so loud. I feel like that's really loud. I just had a spoon. Oh man. Riveting. This is content. Watching Bob make tea. You're not even really making tea. Let's see. Alright, so changing up the painting a little bit to reflect some changes the client wanted. So I misunderstood some of the things. Let me open both of these here. So this is where we're at, but if you were around last week, dude, this is where we were. It's a little bit brighter. There's no northern lights. I kind of ignored a whole bunch of parameters. So now I'm kind of rectifying that. We got northern lights, we got some mountains in the background. I'm gonna have the orca still. Probably another whale. In fact, I think I still have the orca as a different layer. I just gotta figure out what to do with her. You know, make her jumping over, and maybe this has to look a little bit more like ice cream. And an island. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that. So, a little tricky for me. If I don't find some success with it in some time, I'm going to switch gears. So, let's try a thing. I have some reference for the actual island. Let's open it. Load. Recent. That thing. See? Now it's got some quality to it that I don't have reflected in this. One of the things that's, I'm going to have to fix the foliage up here. I don't have any of that quality to it. It's just not that good. So, let us try. I've got it darker here near the middle, which, whoa, I don't want to use that brush. This is the one I was using. Let's switch up this amazing music to a different stream song. Stream beats. Let's try this. A little less frenetic. Let's try that. So, a lot of this can be kind of flattened out. Stop. I was doing some really cool splitting up of this rock and whatnot, but it made it like crumbly looking, and it's not supposed to be crumbly looking. So we'll sort out some of the rock pattern, and then we'll, I don't know, maybe make ice cream like dripping down off of it into the water or whatever. If I can just nail down the look of the rock first. Oh, Excellent. I'm glad you think so. Some lights have started. I gotta fix the ice cream, somehow. Like you're saying, make some ice cream maybe dripping off of it or whatever. I just kind of put the orca back in there. She's not really like she's separate. I can move her all over the place. Just for the time being, I wanted her somewhere on there. Oh, I'm really glad. I did read your email and started trying to... You can see the mountains too. I gotta look those up though, because I'm not sure they're the right mountains. They're just something I threw in there. Kind of targeting Alaska, So, yeah, I'm super glad. I did it off stream because I had to puzzle it out, and yeah, I'll figure this out. So, it's funny. I was goofing off playing a video game the other night, and playing with some random people I didn't even know. And I told them just jokingly that I was a streamer and I had my own kids book and stuff, and so I streamed part of our game just to be dumb. I didn't even have my camera on. One of them actually subscribed. I'm like, that's cool. We had a great time. It was a very strange night. Because normally when people like that, gamers think of Twitch, they think of, well, not art people. Most of the people on Twitch are gaming or, well, just not art. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if I put some ice cream over the top. I don't know. Well, that's just mystifying me. For the time being, let's do it some neutral color. Like so. I'll just draw out some kind of shape. Oops. There's some stuff on the orca that I need to pull out of there. It's like, what is this weird... Oh, I have this. The orca has some of the shading for the island, and luckily I can pull that out, put it right back in like this. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to start with the outline, big bright outline of this ice cream that will be kind of, dripping off into here. And maybe another bit over here. It won't be this bright in the end, I don't think. Maybe, and the stoniness can be reflected in maybe some chunks, like you were saying, some chunks of whatever, mint chocolate chip or whatever. My hands are freezing. It'll be good. Challenging, yeah, but it'll be good. I have so many layers right now, and it's really not what I normally do. All right, let's put in some detail, some preliminary detail. Don't want to go that dark. This is the part where it's like you feel like Bob Ross, where it's like, I'm going to make drastic changes. Not drastic changes, but little weird changes, and it's going to make something work. And then you realize the man was a genius. You're about to screw this up for a while. So this is going to look worse before it looks better. But you know how ice cream has those... Oh, you know what? This is more drippy ice cream than it is this kind. This kind had those kind of gnarly, you know, when you scoop something, the friction of it makes it... This is less of a scoop. So let's try to smooth it out a little. And of course we're going to have to add shadow underneath it. You know, if you're an artist, using different brushes in Photoshop can really achieve some pretty cool results that you wouldn't normally want to try and... If I did this all with like the regular round brush, I would have to mess around. Look at the shape of this brush. I can twist it and turn it, and it kind of behaves like a brush, you know? So somebody out there made this for people like me who want to get to the art part of the job rather than you know, the synthesizing of something, because I really do want it to look like it's painted. So let's see. What I do is I kind of swipe like that just to get a little bit lighter color, and then I can sample that and blend in what's going on over here a little bit more. Just sample that lighter color. I do want kind of a hard edge here though. Gotta remember, this is going to be kind of a nighttime scene, but like Inga was saying, you know, during the northern lights, it's eerily light outside. I had it happen a few times here in Wisconsin, rare, so being able to see it twice was a privilege, and it was super exciting. One time, see, I grew up on a farm, and if you don't know anything about farming, we baled hay, so they're like big bricks of vegetation that you know, feed whatever that eats that kind of thing. And we had fields full of this stuff. And so we would have to harvest it, and how you harvest it is you cut it with a big thing. As you pull it around behind you, it's like this, and it's like a shaver, but it's for your entire field. And so you shave the entire field down, just knock down all this hay, and then after it dries, you have to drive around with this thing that smashes. It picks up all of the knocked down hay and smashes it into bricks, and those are called bales, hay bales. Well, one of the dangers, I say dangers, one of the bad things that can happen to your crop is it could rain on it. If it rains on your crop, it'll mold slightly, and wow, the thing is still running. It'll mold slightly, and then you can't really sell it for much, because you don't want to like give moldy kind of dusty hay to horses or whatever, because they'll make them sick. So we were worried one night. We had rain coming in and no time to bale during the day, so we ran out there with our baler right away, and it was even nighttime. Panicked baling, throwing hay bales around. They weighed about 60 to 80 pounds each, so we were loading up hundreds of them onto a trailer as we were cruising, and about the time we finished and got it tarped over the top of it, it was about to rain. You can tell the sky was just laden with water. For some reason it dissipated. For some reason it completely dissipated, and in its place was just the most stunning display of northern lights. And it's impossible to impart how awesome the lights are you see a picture or even this painting and you're like, oh yeah, the sky has some lights in it. No, the sky is the lights in that direction. It goes from the horizon line all the way until you point straight up in the air, and from side to side all over it. It's incredible. It is beyond incredible. It is impossible to understand until you see it. I'm sure there are some places where they take it for granted, where you see it all the time, but there's nothing like it around here. We never get that. Recently we had a night where they said you might be able to see the northern lights. I was pretty excited. We looked for it. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. Let's add some color to that portion of it because it looks sad. So looking back on that, and we just stood there. There were a couple weird things that happened while we were rushing around trying to get hay off the fields. One time, it was actually pretty dangerous. It was starting to lightning out. It hadn't rained yet, and we were trying to pull all the hay bales up off of the ground out there. And what you got to know is alfalfa, which is the type of plant that we were harvesting, has an immensely long taproot. The root of the thing goes down for 100 feet, I think, or 70 to 100 feet, something like that, down to reach the really good aquifers of water before it puts out all of its good nutritious whatever on the top, the vegetation. The problem is, that means they're extremely well grounded, and so you're standing in a giant field of things that are basically lightning rods, and you're trying to harvest them. So we saw the weirdest phenomenon. I think it's called ball lightning. I'd have to look it up, but it was hovering crazy, weird UFO-like sphere of energy of lightning, and it stayed for moments. I don't know how long. Actually quite scary. Quite scary. Wow. We didn't know what it was going to do. It was sort of close to us, and all this. I mean, it was just regular strikes all around. We were pretty dumb. We obviously got it off the field safely. Nobody got struck. I say obviously, but you don't know the story. We had a neighbor who had two. You know what Clydesdale horse is? They're just huge. They're huge. They have enormous feet. But there's another kind that is just a little smaller than them with big feet. Big draft horses is what they are. And they would pull with these things at the state fair, and they were really amazing, award-winning horses, and they got struck. They got struck by lightning once, and you just don't live through that. It was actually pretty horrifying. Just a lot of pieces of horse all over the place. Saddest thing, but incredible that. Actually, what they were thinking was it hit the tree near them, and that's just enough to do that kind of damage. So the tree itself splintered into massive bits of shrapnel, so that's probably what happened. But the rest of us are like, well, it got struck by lightning. It's easier to say that. Alright, let's try and blend this a little bit more. We have a lot of memories from working on the farm. It was just very hard work. And it was, not always hard work. There were seasons, parts of the year where you didn't, you just took care of whatever animals you had. It wasn't like lambing season where, oh my gosh, you don't sleep. the lambs decide to, or the sheep decide to have their lambs at the most inopportune times, when it's the coldest, most miserable. I'm not joking. You could ask other sheep farming people. There's something about the timing of lambing season where they choose. It's just bad. It'll make you nuts. Ooh, my teeth hurt. Let's I have these weird little monster points down on the bottom of the screen there, and I had 2 people redeem the monster points for things, and now I can't find what they were because I found them after stream. I was kind of bummed, so I'll have to figure that out, because I have stupid stuff like tell a story or hydrate, which is not as fun, but people like to remind streamers that they shouldn't just sit there, talk, and never drink something. Let's paint. It looks like it's just kind of slapped on there, so we got to get some shadows under it. I could probably write an entire book on just what my twin brother and I would get into. That's why I put the tell a story thing in there, because it could be fun. And from day to day, I remember things that we did and forget other days. Actually, Roger's my twin brother. He has a better memory than I do. So when we start talking about things, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's true. That happened, or whatever. Like the time we were out with BB guns, and we would shoot each other. We would literally shoot each other with these BB guns, chase each other around, and I broke one in my hands. Like, they had this pump action thing, and you would like, okay, if we're gonna shoot each other, we're not gonna pump it a lot, because the more you pump it up, the air in there builds, and you really can harm somebody. So we didn't want to do that. It was pretty hilarious. Whoops, there goes my orca. I did it again. So I was pumping away on this thing, and I was being an idiot. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to surprise him with a really, really big hit. I'm going to nail him. Karma's like, no, that's not going to happen. And the gun broke in half in my hands and just flew in all kinds of different directions. And that'll show me. Little did I know that he was doing the same thing. He was more successful with it, though. It was a stupid thing to do. Definitely stupid. We did a lot of stupid things. We lived on a peninsula between a gigantic cemetery and a couple lakes. So we could do whatever we wanted. Fish. We had a sailboat for a while. Of course, we had several boats. We would go ice fishing. Talk about cold. If I back out, it kind of looks like it, but it's not very good. Okay. I think I need to do something like this. Wow, it got super folky for a second there. super fortunate to grow up on that property and do all manner of things all summer. We could do whatever. I mean, I fished so much it was ridiculous. I did not keep everything. The second alert sound doesn't work. What's the sound alert? What? Let's just see. Local file. Source. Pew. Control audio verse. Why? Sound alerts should work. Bummer. Oh, something happened there. Oh, that's just a like. But hey, how are you, Katie? I don't know. That's not the right alert. I have different alerts set up, and I don't know why they're not working. I have really fun stuff. Like if somebody donated, that's what it's supposed to do. You know, a like is supposed to be different. I'm going to disable sound alerts then, I guess, if it's not going to work. Sound alert is just being a jerk. I know, content, riveting content. It's lunch break time. That's awesome. Yeah, cool whales, right? Oh man, what was it? I always called them humpback whales, but there's something different now. People call them something different. No, I don't know. But humpback whales. I got to make another one kind of curling around. The client kind of wants the mouth open, kind of cute, like it's going to eat. It wouldn't eat anything besides like little tiny things, right? But we're going to make it look like it's trying to eat the thing. But yeah, hopefully you're having an awesome... You spent Monster Eyes. The one that's a humpback. Yeah, but they have a different name now. The humpback. The client used the term, and now I can't recall what it is. All right, I'm turning off sound alerts so that this doesn't happen again. Browser source offline. Yeah. Content. Open browser source. See if that works. No. It's thrilling. I know. That's what it is. Rourke. That's hard to even say. Rorqual. I don't know. Maybe it's another language, and it's easier to say in that language. But thank you for for doing that. Let's see if we can make just one last shot at making this stupid sound alerts thing work. And then I gotta figure out how I can award your points back. Wow. Hey, how you doing? Turned out really cool. Yeah, we're getting there. It's gonna be a little while still. I gotta make that actually look like ice cream and not like, I don't know. It's not very good. Maybe I'm not being fair, but there are a couple things wrong with it. They're a little too same size. I need to make one larger than the other, and it's just yeah. Jamie's obsessed with whales. Nice. They're super unique. Just looking at a lot of reference for them, and they're like, I have these reference photos somewhere around here, and that's a person, not a whale. There's some sharks. Yeah. Look at the weird stuff, like the barnacle-y bits of things. Wow. Incredible. Grayscale one, that one looked really cool. When I was grayscale, yeah, the piece needed to be colored. But if you think about it, it's still pretty monochromatic. Where there's not, you know. But yeah, when everything was grayscale, I tend to really like when things are just in tones. Let's see if we can make this. Oh, my cat is just not happy.
Come here, fatty baby.
Doot, doot, doot. Done. All right. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work. We need to try it again. I'm really bummed. I don't know how to award points, monster eyes, to someone. Because... Baleen, that's what it was. Yes. However, Baleen. That's what we're... Thank you, Inga. You're the one that used the term with it to begin with. So now we've got Rorqual, Baleen... I can see your name. Ooh, I almost blocked you. Sorry. Rip. I could time out. I could permit. I could purge. Yeah, I can't do the one thing I want to do, which is give you... I don't know. Sorry, man. I guess it just becomes a thing. I can look at it up later. So I can see playtest alert. Hey, it worked. A test user played a test alert. I think it's working now. I had to like refresh a browser alert source for what it's worth. If you're following along at home. Let's get back to the chat so I can see what's going on. I learned a new word too. Don't know the Rorqual before. Yeah. Hey, Brian Darrow. Time for some ice cream for lunch. I have a blizzard and freezer. Man, how did you have any kind of like restraint to actually put a blizzard in the freezer? It's just if I have a thing like that, it's immediately consumed. Brian, I have good memories messing around. Remember when we went to Peru? Me and Brian went to Peru. Holy smokes. Up in the mountains of Peru. It was gorgeous. We weren't there for sightseeing. We were there to build a church, and it was some of the hardest work I'd ever done. Baleen are those big filtery things in their mouths. Oh, those things. Rick and Heather Bros did an Alaskan cruise a few years back. Yeah, we have ours on hold. We were going to go last year, but you know, a pandemic. Standing with Baleen, it's huge. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Kingsley. Now we're all hungry for ice cream. I'm not doing sugar right now. It's just not a thing. It's not because I'm better than anyone else. No, we're skipping on sugar, but I'm not gonna. My birthday is the 27th of this month. I will be 18 years old, and I'm gonna have cake. It's gonna happen. Just thinking about Peru yesterday. Scott Nelson, Dwayne Crow. Oh, Dwayne! I didn't think about Dwayne. Oh, effing pandemic for real. Go back to work. Thank you, Katie. Thank you for hanging out. Definitely. I mean, without kids, a cruise would be awesome. With kids, you could make it work. No, it's important to enjoy some of the time we have with them. Let's see. It's hard to remember that I'm doing a night scene. This is essentially in the dark, so I can't be doing super drastic highlights and shadows. Yeah, Peru, man. I had blisters in places, and you guys, I was building houses at the time. I was not unaccustomed to work. It's just that the stuff you had to do. Oh, and by the way, there was no oxygen. We were way up in the mountains. So the first night when you get there, you sleep like a rock for like 14 hours, and nobody tries to wake you up. And then, you know, you get up to actually do some work and figure out what the heck you're going to do with your life while you're there. And they give you a special tea. They say it helps with the altitude sickness, because you can actually feel ill from it. And it's like got coca leaves in it, which when processed is cocaine. That's supposedly that's the thing. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not like you're doing cocaine, but it definitely eases, and it's amazing. It's not like it gets you high or anything. It was just an amazing tea, and definitely worked. I was less ill feeling, but even though I was in incredible shape at the time, I really was. I'm not bragging. I couldn't do anything. Walk upstairs, huff and puff. It took me forever to get used to it. Threw 3 snowballs at the peak of the Andes and had to sit down. No oxygen. Yeah. That was, gosh, it's, I forget how high up we were. I know we were next to the Colca Valley, which is super deep, like the deepest area in Southern Hemisphere. And it was just crazy. Cocoa leaf tea was amazing. Yep, so you remember. I don't think there was anybody we were with that didn't think that stuff was amazing. And there's no crazy, addictive nature to it. It's not drugs. But it was awesome. All right, time to try and make a little bit of texture work with... Ice cream has texture. Otherwise, it just looks like sour cream. I don't want it to look like sour cream. Sour cream is not good. Yeah, I think about the 2 trips I've taken to Peru, and one to the jungle and one to the mountains, and the jungle was definitely way worse, and we were in way more danger. So I didn't enjoy that one nearly as much. When I think about the people I went with, they were both with good crews. That Peru one, I knew better, and Scott Nelson, Dwayne Crowell, Hugh. It was just good. It was just, I don't want to say wholesome, because we were definitely angry and tired sometimes, but it was pretty incredible. Like really angry and tired. I got there, I'm a carpenter, and they said, we need carpenters to go build this church. They need help us in carpentry. And so, actually at the time, Scott Nelson was my boss. He paid for me to go. He paid for me to go to this thing because I couldn't make it. So he and I went, and we got there, and they had all this trailer full of wood. And we're supposed to make forms for concrete. We're like, okay, well, that doesn't seem like carpentry, but we can make forms. You can make these boxes that you pour the concrete in, and it keeps it in shapes until it dries or cures. So we bust out the saw, and I start to cut this wood, and you'd think that I had defiled a holy temple. And the locals running up to me, and I speak a decent amount of Spanish. At the time, I spoke really well. No, you got it. No saws allowed. I was like, why the heck am I in Peru as a carpenter if I can't use saws? So it turns out, because you're on the top of a mountain, they had to rent wood. Yeah, I'm glad you remember that, because I'm not just going mad, Brian. They had to rent wood, and we had to figure out how to assemble all of these pieces, and they were not straight, they were not square, they were horrible pieces of wood. We had to make them into forms so they could pour it up. Oh my gosh. So they could pour a bunch of concrete, which, by the way, is not light, and they were pouring it overhead. This is the ceiling of a building. The roof of the building is going to be made out of concrete. So yeah, we figured it out, but I'm here to tell you, I was so ticked. I'm like, why do you need me? We were, we would drive nails and build these things, and when we didn't need the forms, we would take them apart. And so, I'm from the United States. I'm just using my hammer and just cranking these nails out. And I noticed the people around me were like scooping up and scurrying around, and they were collecting the nails. And they would go over to these rocks nearby, and they would straighten them all, and we would use them again. So it was such a different world. These people were tradesmen of a different kind there. And I realized most of the way through that trip, they didn't need me. I was there to learn stuff about myself. They were pretty awesome on their own. We felt like we were building the pyramids because we built like a 40, 50 foot long ramp to walk with buckets on your shoulder full of concrete. And we had, I don't know how many people at a time walking up one side and coming down the other, this huge ramp. And thousands of pounds had to be supported by this, and you couldn't cut one board. Bucket Brigade, yep, was soaking wet empty bags to fill in the gaps. That's right, I forgot about that. They would take, so because we couldn't cut these pieces of wood, there would be gaps everywhere. And they would take the bags, the concrete bags, the actual bags themselves, after you had emptied them, wad them up, soak them, and stuff them everywhere where the concrete was leaking through. So you'd like be standing underneath it or whatever. I didn't do that part. I just saw people doing it, and they would be stuffing these things in and trying to stop the flow of this precious concrete. But that's how they did it. You don't get to cut your wood. You get to stop up the gaps with bags. They used everything. And it's not like this was a primitive place. I make it sound like, oh, they're scurrying around doing these things. These people were pretty dang enlightened. They had like dirt floor in the little house that they built, but it was a house. Oh man, and they swept that floor like crazy good. And it was dirt, and so it just didn't matter. It was like hard as concrete after a while. If you sweep the dirt off of dirt, you're going to find the hardest dirt. It was weird. It was really weird. I am not liking the texture I'm building right now. Yeah, well, I'm glad you remember some of those things, Brian. It's funny. I don't have any photos of that trip. None. I don't have any photos of my first trip. I think there's some. I'm tagged with some of them on Facebook. But I don't know why I didn't chronicle that at all. My first trip, I had my passport stolen, so there wasn't a ton of great memories. I had to smuggle myself out of Peru illegally. A lot of bribes, a lot of finagling, nervous nights. I stayed in the Wycliffe Bible Translators compound, and it was a compound, for a couple days while we tried to sort some stuff out at the embassy. And I'm here to tell you, that was the most boring couple days I've ever spent in my life. Felt like I was in a monastery, primarily because it was kind of like a monastery, and these people were so content to just no TV, no radio, quiet. Nobody talked. It was like living in a monastery that was also a library. Ugh, man. Guys, I was so bored. Thankful, because you can really get, in trouble wandering around Iquitos. We weren't even in Lima at the time. I would have loved to have been in Lima. Lima's a little safer. It's like Chicago. You can still get in trouble. I'm going to flip this image so I can see what it looks like from the other side. Boop. See, and it just feels imbalanced, so I'm going to add some balance to it. It's a trick. It's a thing. You get to looking at something after a while, and you got your mind builds a prejudice against certain forms or a bias for certain forms, and the best way to overwhelm it. If you're doing, I used to, when I was painting actually on canvas, you couldn't mirror it like that. I would just flip the whole canvas upside down and paint for a while, because it disrupted all that bias. I'm actually looking forward to doing some traditional art. I'm going to be redoing some of my poker cards as paintings. A couple of them, just reinterpret them as originals so that they can be sold as part of the Kickstarter. And there's two of them that are going to go to, I think, an elite kind of tier prior to Kickstarter. There will be people buying into it prior to the availability, and they get much different rewards. It'll also help fund the deck. It's going to be a good deck. It's going to be a real good deck. Still teaching the 10 Commandments with your drawings. Really? The same ones? Man. Send them to me in Messenger. I wonder if I should just redo them. I don't remember what I did, but I'm guessing since that was 15 years ago that I could top it and it would look a little better. I'm glad you're teaching with him though. That's pretty awesome. Is it like a theology class or I know, and where do you teach? I know I've heard or seen your posts about teaching, but I don't know where. PowerPoint, but can send it. Yeah, or screenshots of it. I can open PowerPoint. I can open just about anything, I think. Alright, let me look at this ice cream again. Even though it's not the right consistency of ice cream. That's a whale. Sometimes it has, there we go, like ridges. Ruffles have ridges. Yeah, maybe I'll redo them on stream and we can learn something about the 10 Commandments while I work on a piece of artwork for it. 10 pieces of artwork to be clear. You know, smaller than in scope than this, but it could be fun. This is, you know, full-on painting. It's not an illustration. I treat them differently, an illustration versus a painting. Yep, I still don't feel it. Okay. Oh, so SUNY College in Sacramento and Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. Do you like Florida? Do you get to visit it because you teach for them? I do not like heat, so I don't like Florida, but some people. I've only been once to Florida and actually spent any time in Florida. How's the volume on this? Is it need to be higher, lower? Every time I play a game at night, you know, a bit like a video game, I have to change the volume of it because it's so different in these games than it is on stream. I invariably, in one or the other, get somebody telling me, I can barely hear you, or dear God, you're killing me with the volume of your microphone. Ugh, this is not good. Volume's okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. There are like these crevices in ice cream, and I had them kind of nailed in the other one. And they kind of sweep in arcs because when you scoop it, you know, you're using a round scoop, a spherical scoop. I'm gonna just go like this. You ever see faces in what you're doing? Like I see a face right here. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make the face happen. Ready? I see a seal. Here's the nose of the seal. There's an eye, another eye. And there's the mouth. There's a seal in there. I'm telling you. The human brain wants to see faces everywhere anyways. So, whoops. So we're conditioned to look for the faces anyways. This is why we look into the clouds and see a pony or a battleship or a seal. It's Monday. What do you guys think about Mondays? Is it bad? I haven't disliked a Monday in years. That comes along with doing work that I really like. I'm not doing it right. Oh, paint over it. Paint it over. Try again. Okay. It's hard. Okay. If I make this. Some days the forms, they come very easily. Some forms you have to fight.
It is CGI fog though.
Seriously though, it's just like in her classroom, just like chilling.
Wait, this is an Instagram photo. It's
Don't like it.
over,
Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it.
looking at it.
Watch this. This is always fun. As an artist, you got to be willing to do this kind of thing. Just start over. Tabula rasa.
It's AR, maybe not like Instagram filter, but it's definitely AR based.
Send the PowerPoint over. Yeah. Pics look good. Got to run for now. Yeah, God bless your socks off. I see you around. It's been really nice talking to you. Do not be a stranger.
That thing's good on Monster Hunter.
Alright, starting anew.
Small frog boy with like the big old tail, and you have like platypus spines on it.
I wonder if I should use that triangular brush that was really... or square.
Oh my god, that thing's the worst. I just googled Gyratotus and Bing couldn't give me
Oh, because Bing.
a picture of a Gyratotus.
Why would you look up anything on Bing?
The hype? The hype indeed.
Bing's.
What are you up to?
I can't get a good picture of one. Really?
Oh yeah, this will be better. I don't know why I was using that other one for that texture. This will be better.
Hold up. Hold up.
Alright, this will be much better texture.
Oh. The pineapple poker. Like a Pokemon.
It's sort of a fish. Makes it worth having.
I know, I'm switching back and forth a lot. Because there's just a lot of...
I like it.
Grayson, you've just liked the stream, and that's awesome. But more importantly, you've showed me that my alerts are busted.
To be a
That is not the alert that I wanted it to be. But it's the alert that I deserve. But thank you. Also, if you're still hanging out, or if you just drive by liking, I don't know, congratulations on becoming a full-on nurse. That's a lot of work. I mean, I knew you would. I had all the faith. But dang, that's a lot of work.
look.
I maintain that a bachelor's is easier to get than ADN in nursing. And you can't change my mind. It doesn't look like it's turning this corner. It doesn't look like it's round. You guys get to watch me struggle with ice cream. See these these bits that are smooth? I need those, but I also need this bit right here. So, like I'm trying to describe a bit right here. It's not, the same shape, but I need it to be darker. Let's try it. And then I need it to, be maybe lighter under it. So this is the crevice that'll have that kind of texture in it. So, if I do that, I can jump back in and give myself some texture in kind of lines. It is not the same, but sometimes backing out is the right thing to do. So I'm going to sit out from it this far for a little bit. And I'm not going to make my brush really teeny, because that, when you get fiddly, you don't get the overall form. And I keep forgetting this is a nighttime scene. It's going to definitely... So the thing about nighttime, see, if this was noon, the highlights would be very strong over top, and the shadows would be very strong underneath. If it was evening, they would be very strong on one side, and if the highlights would, and then it would be very, very dark on the other. But this is nighttime, and it's lit by some crazy diffuse light from the sky. So to get it to be believable, I'm going to have to tone down a fair amount of the highlights. So that should be really interesting. And I want this to look like it's coming out. I don't want this to be so stark. Stop. I don't hate this side nearly as much. I think it's time to flatten these layers. I have too many. Bam. Done. Let's see. You know what I didn't do? Didn't get lunch before I started this. Do I try and make something just, it has dripped and maybe is falling, to try and emulate motion sometimes really helps a piece. And since it's underwater, it needs to have a different tone. Everything under the water here is a little diffuse and slightly green. What's up, Eric? What in the world are you doing? So cute. I noticed you had a lurk day. I was lurking behind you. Don't be afraid. I didn't do anything untoward. I had to change everything on this piece, man. So cute. I can't say it like you do. You have a unique, so cute voice. Exactly. A lot of changes. She's in the chat, so don't be mean to her. No, I'm kidding. You wouldn't be mean. You know how it is. Sometimes it's just like you were way off base. I was way off base. I do have the old kind of, look and feel. I saved it, but gotta make lots of changes. Gotta commit to the high pitch. I try. You know that noise that the Skeksis make in Dark Crystal? Can't do it. I'm not even gonna try. If you don't know what it is, then I can't help. I can't do it. I really want to. I really want to do that, but it just cracks and I make no noise. It just doesn't come out. It's bad. Yep. Let's add some shadow. Yeah. I was telling stories about being in Peru. You missed it. Yeah. There was a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, decided to show up in chat, and I hadn't seen him before. We went to Peru together, and we were reminiscing about, dear God, how different it is there. Breezing through. Vanish. Do your thing, bro. Go do your work. Working and lurking. Thanks for stopping by, for sure. There's so much snow right now. Painting snow. Actually, it's 55 degrees outside today, so maybe not a whole lot more of the snow. Really do need to get out and take a walk. After having surgery and then just being kind of sedentary anyways, I kind of owe it to myself. Let's make some snow sitting on like one of these. Because it would sit in there, kind of like that. Alright, I'm going to leave off on that part for now. And I kind of want to fix these trees. They're supposed to be a bit different shape. Let's erase this part. The shape of the tree is more like, I'm just going to straight up carve this color in. It's more like this, where it goes like a pine cone, maybe. I should put up a notice. Do not spend your monster points until I figure out how the heck to fix it. Because I can't get any notifications if you spend them. What I'm supposed to do, don't know yet. There we are. Okay, so these things are sort of like weirdly rickety in one direction or another. Yeah, and that notice right there, I have got an email collection thing. If you want me to draw something, I think it would be hilarious. Just put it. I'm not like Eric, where I can take 5 minutes and make it amazing, whatever you request. If you put your name on that list, I'm just gonna do what I want, and then I'll send it to you. Maybe I'll keep you in mind, like as to what I'm choosing. But let's see. Let's do some. See how the shape of this tree is just a little bit more, I don't know, weird and bulbous in areas. And the sound alerts thing isn't working, but hopefully I took that off there. Boop. I can't remember what I did. Boop. Sound alerts. I just want to disable you, please. Unless for some reason I can make it work. If I can get a test, let's see. Oh, nope. An error occurred. An error occurred. Oh, it did work. And it's the freaking... yeah! Star Wars Cantina. Doesn't have any graphic associated, but that's awesome. Alright, so I don't know how in the heck you redeem the monster eyes for it, so that'll be the next thing to try and figure out. I promised myself I wouldn't be doing... There we go. Let's go back to this. Just fix the shape of it. And the color. Don't do that. Oops. My microphone kind of gets in the way of my face sometimes. I kind of want, like, to tie the greens of the sky into these somehow. It's difficult to resist the temptation just to grab a green, because trees aren't necessarily green. They're like shades of brown. Even their green old leaves are like shades of brown. Fix. Okay, I wanted some of these trees to be like laying down, like, you know. It reminds me of when I was a kid. We used to go to North Branch in Michigan, and we had to clear like giant areas of trees so that we could get back there for... I don't know why we did it, actually. It was a lot of work. So when we were clearing the trees, there were some already busted down and laying across the path and whatnot. And they were often the most difficult to deal with. You'd think, oh, that just saved me a lot of time, but it really is kind of hard to deal with, because they're sitting in ways that are precarious. You know, you fell a tree, you can choose which direction it falls, and you're like, yeah, I know exactly how to deal with that. But if it's already fallen, you don't know what's binding where, and it's like playing pickup sticks, which is not a thing anymore. You move one thing though, and it influences all the other things. So I wanted to make like one tree like going off the side here. It's broken and laying like so. But I shouldn't do it yet because I need to paint like the trees around it, you know, and then add in these trunks. Come on. There we go. You know, Bob Ross would have this tree painted already, 100%. It would be happier than this tree, and look better than this tree. Right now, he's got on Twitch here about 3,000 people following him as he paints. It's pretty incredible. Oops. Don't do that. Don't do that. I need to make more tea. My hand's freezing. I know, I already said it is 55 degrees out, and I'm freezing. When you're doing relationships of things like these trees, small, medium, huge, guys. If you are ever into, what do you call it, like a design of anything, remember small, medium, huge. I don't care if you're putting candlesticks on the mantle in your house. Don't put 3 candlesticks or 2 candlesticks at all. Find 3 at least. Odd numbers are better. But sorry, thinking for a second. But yeah, make them different sizes: small, medium, and large. I like to say small, medium, and huge, because the bigger the difference, the better on the one. And that's kind of what I was bummed about, like this piece of snow, this piece of snow, and this piece of snow. I really still feel like this piece of snow needs to be much bigger, but we'll see. We'll get there. Oh. Right now I need to just switch gears to the trees. So next time you're decorating, think of me and how you're not going to put 2 of anything in your house, or in your drawings, or in your paintings, and if you do, you do put them there. If you find like 3 or so, make them small, medium, and huge. Otherwise, just put 1 and be done with it. Now I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I know, after all that messing around I did with it. I forgot, I could use snow on some of these branches to give a little bit more definition to what's going on. I don't like that. Now that I've made it this tone, this white tone, it's very bright, I'm going to have to tone it back. And also, I've got to do something like this. Let's see if I can pull one off. Like a chunk of chocolate. So we'll start out with like this tone. And we'll make it embedded in here. Without even looking at something, I wonder if I can do it. So, you know, technically I could do that, but let's try and do something a little bit better than that. Give me my... Oh no! Oh no! Where was that brush? Oh, you guys. I lost my brush. No. No. Now I get to go around trying to find my... Or maybe I'll just deal with what I got. Damnation. Lose my head if it wasn't attached. So, chocolate. Chunks of chocolate. What does chocolate basically look like? Basically looks like it's made of plastic. So, and not even, you know, a slightly glossy plastic. So let's make it look like it's made of plastic. A chunk sticking out from this. Yeah. And then make it reflect the sky a little bit by this light green. I know it doesn't look green. Trust me, it's green. And then just a very little aggressive highlight. So it kind of looks like a chunk of chocolate wedged in there. Let's do a similar thing, except we're going to put it up here. And we're going to make it like this shape. Taller and thinner. And it's sticking up. Yeah. It works. And this is the way I want it to be facing. I've been flipping it back and forth, and back and forth, back and forth, but this is the way I originally... This is the way. Let's make this one that's descending in here just a little darker. Let's see here. Let's see if I can figure out how to... Sorry. Pop that out. refund these channel points. Aha! I figured it out. I must try it again, though. All right, see if the channel points have arrived back. And how do I get it to tell me if someone requests something? Clip that, edit stream information. I know, this is riveting content. Add. Oh, does that show anything on stream though? Rewards queue. Okay. Enough goofing around with channel points. I think I'm gonna make a sandwich. I'm trying to like get myself stoked about lunch when there's not really anything exciting to get stoked about. Do another piece of chocolate stuffed in here, like poking out of the bottom of that. It's gonna be smaller though. Doot doot doot. See, actually I can't be doing highlights that bright. It's a nighttime scene. Let's make one sticking out from over here. Oops. Get back to the stream. And the more of these I kind of do with a similar, because at first they maybe look like a rock pointing out, like some of these rocks or whatever. But if I do more of them, it won't look like that. It'll read as these chocolate things, chocolate chips, chunks. I like the ones that are more chunks. These are kind of stark, though, don't you think? Yeah, the channel points sounds are broken. Lovely. When you used Monster Eyes for it. Damnation. I refund all the things. Manage requests. Okay. What other rewards should I have? There's one. Somebody's like, you should do a dance break. Well, that's not going to happen. No. You would have to give me $100. I'm totally fine trying that if you give me $100, but you won't, and so I won't. Edit rewards. Okay, so it says edit rewards for my channel points. Monster eyes. I don't want to customize the eye. I want to manage rewards. Create a community challenge. Ha! No. Notification view. I wonder if there's like a volume that I screwed up. I have this like monster icon that I never use. Let's see if I can find it. That I want to use for one of my reward tiers. I think I tried to use it once and decided it wasn't appropriate. I mean, not that way. Streaming and emotes. Do I have an emotes thing? Emotes. This guy. Yes. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe this one? You guys earn 200 points on average per hour? Huh. That was a weird sound. Okay. Why is it making those noises? That's something. Rating? What are you doing? Alec? How was your day? Oh, I just got to the bottom of my tea and I forgot to take out the tea bag. It's really gross. That's disgusting. Hey, how are you this fine day? Hey, at least some of my notifications are working. Don't use your channel points on sound notifications, right, meow, because they're not working. They're not working. I have this really funny one that's supposedly like the ghost from Phasmophobia that breathes heavily, and just, I'm here to tell you, that was the most terrifying thing. That game just about gave me a heart attack. I would never play it without friends, never. But, what are you doing? Did you stream your prep for the game? Is it now time for game? I thought maybe, I don't know when you're starting that. Kinda looks like. Alright, so let's see. I have too many layers, so let's try and... This one here doesn't have anything on it. Goodbye. This one here is that ice cream cone. I'm not sold on that ice cream cone, so I'm going to lock it and turn it off. This one here is our Humpback Whale. Gonna stay. Ice cream cone should probably stay. These are the chocolate chips. Or whatever they're called. I think they're called chocolate chips. When I think of chocolate chip, I think of the thing that looks like a Hershey's Kiss, the tiny ones, but these are chunks. Did a quick stream because I was sick. All last week. Still not feeling 100%. Our stream is good. Just doing some positive quotes and talking about all I did to be productive. Positive quotes is a good idea. Productive for the overlays I made and the panels and badges. Wow, yeah. I changed some of my stuff. I don't know if you noticed when you came in, like here, I'll replay it. But look at that. It goes over his poor little face. So, haven't quite figured out what I'm doing wrong with that yet. I could just make it smaller. Like if I, thank you. Some of these, if they come from Facebook, that's what they do. Boring. So I got to figure out Facebook and YouTube. So I don't know. Some of those are really loud. Celebration loudness. But I am working on a stinger. I'm creating it myself. I'm animating it myself. And you will be amazed when you see it. I actually tested it out. I threw it in here because I was intrigued. You were doing it and you said I should do it. So I went and I did it. But right now it is not ready for prime time. It's silly. It's silly. It's robot oriented, robot centric. Of course it is. It's just how I roll. What are those? This orca is going to need some attention sooner or later. But right now, okay, so time to make it look like it's dark out. Let's put another layer over the top of it. Not dark out, but dark over this thing. How am I going to do this? I have to tone it down. And do I do multiply? I don't want to cover it too much. It should be very diffuse. No crazy highlighting, no crazy shading. But it's already so dark right down the middle. What if I screen? This is going to look like crap before it looks better, so just bear with me. If I screen this, and then I go for the blending options, this layer, this is where knowing Photoshop might be helpful. See how I'm able to let, some of the shadowing through from below? And I'm able just to lighten that up. Sometimes I play with it and I fluctuate it like that just because I want to see quickly where I'm at and just get a knee-jerk reaction. So now I can paint a little bit like that, a little bit like that. Struggling. Let's kill this layer. It's very bright now. Let's do a similar thing. this layer. No. Oop, I'm working on the wrong layer. Underlying layer. Is that just not helping? Oh, you guys, I'm an idiot. I didn't have the layer actually on. Gosh, I'm brilliant. Okay. Let's return these all to their state. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I'm just going to commit that. Now I got to get my water. Let's do a pretty stark color change in here. At least I think it'll be pretty stark. Yeah, okay. So this looks obnoxious, I know, but I'm going to work with it in a second. I needed it to be kind of a nuclear color so I could see where I'm working. Because this is the actual stone and the rest is the ice cream. Gonna have to deal with the mint ice cream at some point. Oops, what am I doing? This part is ice cream, not rock. I need the stone to be separated out. Like this part in Clip Studio would probably be still possible. I like Clip Studio a lot. I'll be visiting it again shortly. So alright, so we got a little bit of warmth there. Warmth? Why do I always add a P? Warmth. I need a positive quote. What's a positive quote? That should be one of my reward tier things. Make Bob look up a positive quote. Whoa. Too brownish red. I could go blue. You know what? Let's do a really gray blue like the whale. The lightness does not matter, I don't think. Make all those go. See how I just move that and all of a sudden it's going into the recesses? The blue becomes more in the shadow. And that is how I'm going to hopefully achieve a little bit more impressionistic thing. So let's go with something really warm, like an orange, and do a similar thing. It's gonna be too bright. Too bright, I know. I used to love blue and orange. Like everything I did art-wise was blue and orange, blue and orange. Drink. Or die. Let me, okay, hold on, be right back. I'm gonna grab, a drink. I have this idea that I want to do. I don't even know if I can get this to focus. See this? If you're into Pokemon, it's a Zubat. A Zubat. So I took a card. It's a Pokemon card, and I painted it full art. So the image was on there was the Zubat and all the rules and stuff. So it is probably not going to. I'm going to do some of these on stream. I'm just thank you for the compliment. My overlay. Yeah, I'm going to do some of these guys on stream, but I got to figure out how to get my camera to point in the proper way and only be focused in the right place and make these not, move around as I'm painting. It's much easier when I'm not trying to like record. So I actually had somebody pay me to do a bunch of them. It was a lot of fun. But these will be just for my own edification. Not clienty work, but yeah. Thank you, Alec. Should have made some more tea is what I should have done. It's just my hands are cold, and doing the tea thing warms them up. Even if you don't sit there and clutch it, for some reason drinking it warms me up. It's weird. All right, so I'm just gonna clobber this with the orange. It's probably not even going to show up down here. And just fade it out a little bit, and then no more, and then let's do our little trick of. I always forget which one of these sliders does it. Aha. Okay, we want the orange to be only on the highlights and not in the shadows. So I split this and I bring it this way. See how it's bringing the blue into the shadows? And I just want this because I'm going to use it now for the highlights. The highlights are pretty lame. So let's... Okay, that's better. So was it decently like focused when I did that? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. I have a lens that can get me some decent depth of field, but it's. Oh hey, whoa! No, I meant to tone that way back. Stop. Okay. This. I just flattened all my layers and realized what I was doing. You can't see the details? Yeah. The main idea of it, you can't see the details. Yeah, I don't know why I can't get the live, the autofocus to work. It will not autofocus. Alright, that's a little bit more subtle. Needed it to be subtle. Let's back out a sec. But it looks so flat. Look how flat that looks. That's what it do look like. Alright. Give me one of these. Right now I'm doing more like Photoshop photo editing than I am. Yeah. What? I know how to make my own life. You don't know, yeah, which is because, yeah, when it's not live. Oh, hey, Bob. Yes. Oh, hey, Bob. You can try. Do you want my honest, unvarnished opinion? You know how that goes. Let me just... I mean, of course you do. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? How about now? So what's interesting is up here near the top of this, what I'm using for a shadow could very well be used for a highlight down here. It's weird sometimes. I used a program, didn't use my own art, but I put everything. You look at my overlays. Tell me if the color scheme meshes. I can tell you if the color scheme messes. You know what I mean. Are you up right now? I suppose I could host you. Let's see. Oh, DM them. Okay. Then that will work. Sure. Discord is good. I don't know how else we'd do it. You could, yeah, I don't know how else we'd do it. But that'll be good. I think I need to do like a multiply layer. It's really... I haven't really been able to dial in any life into this rock. I mean, rock, yeah. You wouldn't think of it as having life at all, but... that doesn't look like it. You know, the rock that I'm trying to go for is this. Look at all those colors. Yeah, I'm going to have to go crazy. I'm going to have to put some real crazy tones in there and then go for it. Discordia. Do I have my Discord up? It's coming up. It's loading. Where you at, Alec? Oh yeah. Okay. If it meshes, I'm bringing it over here. This is like warmish purples, and then this is great. This is, hey, everybody say hi. Say hi. This is good. This, I mean, I don't see why not. It's all pinks, purples. The light blue is an interesting choice, but I like it. I wouldn't do without it. I think it's quite good. Wait, how's that different from this one? Let's see. The BRB, oh, it's the cityscape. I like the way that glows. But yeah, it all meshes nicely. What's going in here? I wonder what's going in here. I like the skyline kind of theme you got going, because it goes throughout each one. You know, it gets bigger here, which is nice. Chat box, yeah, you're right. I don't have a thanks for watching screen. I'm making a note. It's a good idea. Thanks for watching. And I shall do that, because, you know, I usually just bail. I usually just duck out. I'm bad at broadcast awesomeness. But yeah, good idea. I think that message is great. Do you have a particular concern about it that you were wondering, or just you're wanting validation? Sometimes we need validation. We're too close to the project. All right, gonna darken all of this. Maybe darker. Ooh, maybe too dark. Much better, okay. I don't know actually what's easier to darken or lighten in this case. look like an actual timeline. Trying to study going from sunset to... Nope, I did not get that. Hold on. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Hello. Well, that's not it. Okay, so stream starting soon is, you know, like dawn. I can see like the colors from one side, and as it tends down, you're getting cooler. So it is definitely night time. I think that I would. What are you working in? Photoshop or no? Because it would be more evident if the stream starting soon had just a little more warmth, like yellow, like let me get this over here. Open, let's see. Snipping tool. Let me try a thing real quick. And this isn't by any means me saying that you did it wrong. Canva. Oh, I don't know how to use Canva. But the idea is that I've heard of Canva. So, like, you could get something warm, like a straight up warm color, like orange, and put it over the top of it. This is like the ham-fisted way of doing it. So to make it look more like dawn, I don't like it. What if, okay, you probably have a hue and saturation thing, I bet you, that looks kind of like, ew, stop. It looks kind of like this guy in Canva, maybe. And you know, if I crank this around, I can change all the hues. And sometimes it's fun to do that. Like, check that out. What? I don't know. I wouldn't use it, but it gives me ideas. So, no. Why am I frozen? Do you hear my voice? Yeah, you hear me. It's only frozen my cam. And you can see the motion. Yeah, I can fix this. Because it's super important, right? I would tend to, with the graphic, to try and warm it up for the earlier ones. Yeah, warm it up. So if you just like warm it up and make it less saturated, okay, and then at nighttime you would, you know, you would crank it in the opposite direction, and it would be fun. It would be really fun to make it even more, what do you call it, blue, like just tend toward the blue. Like if I'm grabbing all of the color scheme and doing this, it gets kind of difficult though. Sometimes I crank the saturation just to see what I'm doing. Because none of these are staying warm. Do you ever do this where you take a layer that you're working on and just like maybe put it over the top of it and now change the colors? This gets weird. I put it over the top of it and multiplied it. Hello, Control U. Why is it not doing that, Alec? There we go. And then I just straight up colorize it and see what I do. Stream starting soon. Okay. It's terrible. It's terrible. Sometimes the greens are working for me, but it's gonna take some dialing in, because making it warmer without ruining some of that fun color scheme is gonna be. I know how I'd do it if I had a bunch of time. Oh, did I just screw this up? Like, you know, in client work, you can go back and just wahoo. You know, it doesn't matter, but you're on the right track. It's fun. I get what you're trying to do now. And the good thing is, just because I didn't see that theme doesn't mean it wasn't successful. It's like, it works. It looks pro. Looking pro is good. There are layers I can try to work with. Oh, yeah. Then that's good. Sometimes, when you get those kind of things, they're all baked in, and you can't do jack about it. Nope, don't like what I did there. Sometimes you gotta just try other blending modes, and that's terrible. Just to get ideas, because it's not going well. It needs to be warm. Subtle story. I like it. You're all about the story, right? With your role playing, you have a whole server for it that I sometimes see tons of activity on. Yeah, telling the story, that's great. And even if I don't, like I said, if I didn't see it, doesn't mean it didn't work. Maybe subliminally, I got it, I was feeling it, maybe. Never know. That's why I care so much about the details, because even if nobody ever really says, hey, I noticed you got rid of that tangent there, I know that subliminally they would have hated the other way. But yes, the story is subtle. You look like you have. Well, last time I was there, it wasn't at all. I saw you playing a game, and that was already drastically different. In a good way. Drastic sometimes can feel like it was too radical, but it was not too radical. It was good. Streamline his imagery. Yep. Sometimes less is more. Areas of rest for your eyeballs, which I think is good. I think you've got it. I've got to learn that sometimes with my stuff. I get like super ornamental with my design sensibility because I like details. I like all the gribbly bits. Let's try and get the shadows to be cooler again. Working on my partner's laptop right now. Until he fixes it over. Ooh, it's still overheating? Yeah. But, like you were doing with, not Overwatch, what is it? Hearthstone. That's a good one. Does that use a lot of processing? I don't think it does. No, I can't recall. Okay, this is way too bright, but, I still want it to be not bright. I just don't want it to be quite as brilliant in the shadows. By this weekend, huh? Is your partner fixing it themselves, or is this something that gets sent out? Because that's the worst, sending it out, not having it anywhere around. I'm just going to try and get these shadows to be more blue real quick. And add a few more shadows. If you're out in the kind of dusky hours and you look around, it saps the color from things. Just check it out. It's really weird. Super Brain. Good. Super Brain is good. Having one of those around. The power user. Super Big Brain. I used to be able to work on computers a lot more. I think having a few years where I used a Mac and exclusively used a Mac kind of made me stupid as far as computers go. I let the operating system pass me by, Windows pass me by, because I was working in Apple land. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, that's getting a little better. Back to the reference real quick. I wish I had a nighttime shot of it. I probably could. Look at how the green comes down like that. Oh yeah, I need to do that. I need to drag some of this green down. Stop. I need to drag some of the green downward through one of these cracks. As it kind of comes down, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to highlight it so it doesn't look cheesy. Yeah, like that's cheesy. That's bad. Maybe I'm not gonna highlight it so much as I'm gonna have to shade it. Are you ever gonna do art on your stream, Alec? Because that's primarily what you were doing before with your tablet or whatever. I mean, you're rebranding yourself. Yes. But do we ever? I mean, that's the point. That's the goal. But do we ever? Learning to function in the midst of that is what is hard for me. Trying right now a lot. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to do. It's easier said than done. I get it. Want to pinhole myself into something? Yeah. I mean, I know that you said you were going to be having issues like that, and that's, pigeonholing yourself. I know people who do that with games. They're like, I can't be doing this game forever, or whatever, So that if we branch out now. A side thing, yeah. Yeah, I get it. You know what I live in absolute fear of? I know it's well, maybe it's not stupid. It's pretty legit. Going blind. I really worry about going blind. I know I shouldn't spend my time worrying about anything, especially if there's no indication that that'll happen. That's what I worry about. I love this brush. Stupid square brush. Square brush. This needs to be brighter. What's going to be tricky is this silly whale needs to stand out from the background without just being black or white. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet. It's still just a cutout. My form needs permissions. Dang it. I redid the form. Hold on. You talking about the link that's on there? If you go a make a copy, move to draft, add collaborators. That's not it. It should be so much easier with this, correcto? I've got responses. Settings, presentation, quizzes. No. Oh, restrict to users in MrRobCrumb.com and its trusted organizations. Do me a favor, Alec, and try that again. I think that if you've never sent me an email, it was trying to say, nah, fam. That's what they mean by trusted organizations, I think. It's a dumb phrase. Sometimes I'll get an email from somebody who I totally trust, and it'll be like, hey, this person is in one of your trusted organizations, so what do you want to do? I want to read the email like I intended it to do. Okay, economy of stroke. Look at this. I'm going to zoom in right here. This is a great example of trash economy of stroke. Just in this one little area, and I know no one will ever get this close, but look at how craptastic this is. There's this blue and this light blue, when really it should all be, you know, in fact, make the brush bigger. This whole area should just be that tone. Having it be so fiddly just confuses it. Look at how I can sort all this crap out. And you can have difference in, like, you know, have a stripe here or there that's a different. So yeah, I have to work on my economy of stroke. It's just how efficiently you can. I mean, gradients aren't bad. Gradients are fine. But geez, when the freaking strokes go all over the place. So yeah, if you could try that again and see if it lets you put your address in there. There we go. Ah! Sometimes the brushes go crazy. Stop that. Alec, you'll notice that your stream points, the monster eyes, have been refunded because I wasn't getting any notifications of what people were looking for, redeeming them for. And thusly, I didn't respond. So I thought, you know, that's a waste. Give them back. You know, hopefully try again. Okay, now that I've got this economy of stroke going, I can go ahead and I can soften the edge. Excuse me. I don't want it to look like it's cut out of stone. It's soft ice cream. I want to know if it works. You did the thing? Did it work? I can actually check. What am I saying? Yep. Okay, sweet. It worked. So, I don't know how many other people have tried that haven't sent me emails or whatever. Huzzah. Stop Tell them to stop. Tell them I said stop. And get back to work. The big mean streamer man says get back to work. Streamer man. Boy, I 100% understand what you're talking about. Wow. So that's a universal thing. Yep. My God. I mean, I was that way too. It is gonna be time to get some food. I have this thing that I do. Alec, you probably haven't been around enough to see it. I just grab one of my YouTube videos and I let it spin while I'm making food. And it's just like a 10-15 minute break, depending on actually which video I choose. And then it's just like, hey, I get some mileage out of my YouTube stuff. Mileage meaning, you know, I don't have a lot of, it's not something I've used a lot of, so it's fresh. And hey, I worked a long time on some of those videos, so it's nice to be able to use them again. These aren't the never-ending story ones that I was doing. These are just some of the old speculative art videos I would do, like what would McDonald's look like if it was a person. You know, these brands, what would they look like if they were human beings? And that was so much fun. It's another one. Oh yeah, I did a whole Disney princesses thing where what if Belle turned into a werewolf? I actually don't know if that was the one, but what if Belle turned into a werewolf? What would it be like, and what would Gaston's role be then, and how would it change their dynamic? So I would turn him into the hunter and her into the werewolf, and I think that is actually the one that I did. Or Milan was a vampire. YouTube for my D&D stream. Oh, might do other things on there. Yeah, nice. It's another step in the right direction. Every one of those steps gets you closer to Mecca, right? I guess I just made it like a pilgrimage analogy there. Alright, that's starting to get a little more graphic. I have spent all of the last 2.5 hours in this spot right here. Whoops. Crazy, huh? What did I do? Wow, I didn't know you could do that. Let's not do that anymore. Thank you. Art palette cleanser time. Okay? Art palette cleanser time. Do something else. Do something else? Like what? Like... what would be fun? What would be fun? Be good if it was like something for somebody. I'm looking through my stuff. Looking through what I need to get. I have a whole project that I've been working on. Hey, check this out. I did a... This is somebody's role-playing character. Open Sesame. And it's like Shadowrun. Do you know Shadowrun? Why won't it open with it? I don't understand. Shadowrun is that kind of sci-fi with magic. You probably know. I think they're cute because it's not a valid Photoshop format. It doesn't have to be. Photoshop's acting a little weird. Okay, there she is. I think that, I mean, I really had fun. The descriptions were great. You know, the oversized starter jacket, the the crazy red hair. Cute, I know, right? Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I did it with a cross-hatching style. And yeah, I think they use it. I don't know. But it had to be kind of elf-like. They were, you know, the elves in Shadowrun are more, I don't know, their form is different, very different. So, bigger eyes. I wasn't really going for the anime look. I try and avoid anime as much as possible. Not that I don't like it, it's just everyone else does it. And I don't want to bring sand to the beach. Why? I could work on this. This was a fun... This is somebody's overlay. Were you around when I was doing this? It's like a Viking overlay, like a... Yeah. And I was going to try and go through and kind of sharpen up some of these details. Sharpen up some of these edges. It's fun. It's fun. The guy is very into... Stop. Nope. Stop. The guy is very much into Viking lore, Viking identity, Viking. Understandable. So I was going to try and like sharpen up these edges, sharpen up these highlights. Whoa, don't do that. Sharpen up these highlights by like, you know, grabbing some of the... Or I could just start something new, because sometimes starting something new is fun. Like a random character idea. I've been doing my own like character design just because lately. I made a character and I can't find the art of it that's entirely made of wispy smoke, but contained by mason jars. So like his head's in a mason jar, his arms like are held by mason jars, and he could like pick them up and drop them. It was the stupidest thing. I love it. In my brain it totally worked. On paper it was bizarre. I just wanted something unique. I saw it in my head much differently, but that's kind of the way it always works when I draw something. Yeah, that's fun. Let's do a let's see, 1920 by 1080. I'm gonna do it 300. Okay, go. Oh, hey, whoa. Wow, look at that brush. I have not used this one yet. Neat. Alright, so starting with this, what can I find in here? If I do some random splotches. Sometimes I like to look up here at the other monitor and see if I can draw like this. Like some people have those kind of screens where they draw down here and it happens up on the monitor. So and I'm not feeling it. Sometimes when that happens, I try and look for other things. Interesting. Okay, I might have found something. We'll see. This is kind of like what we were talking about earlier with like looking into the clouds and seeing something. This is a little bit dark though. It's maybe I don't want to do like ultra dark. Do you kind of see an alien skull slash head, maybe helmet thing in here somewhere? I do. It's fun to try and draw it up there on the screen. get my drawing brush. Draw. Kyle has some drawing brushes. Okay, then still trying to be pretty loose with it. Drawing in straight lines can help that sometimes. I said palette cleanser. This is going to be different. Sometimes starting new art is it's kind of frightening because you're like, where am I going with this? If I die right now, will people wonder what was he doing? The last piece, you know, nobody's going to speculate, but you know, it's interesting. It's fun to kind of think about. You know, if Van Gogh would have died using his paints, like he's sitting over it, what would people think about what he was doing? Not that I'm Van Gogh in this scenario at all, just an artist idea. Like, what would I be leaving with this particular one? Kind of made out of metal, right? Except for when he's not. I have one whole project I'm completing on the iPad, and I suppose I could bust it out at some point. But, you know, when you're working in Procreate, which is a different bit of software, it just plain, the feel of everything looks different. If you try and drag it over to Photoshop, because it feels like a different medium, it's going to look different. Kind of like switching from oils to acrylics. There's just something innately different, obviously, about the two of them and their limitations. I'd say that Procreate has a slipperier feel, but a more sensitive pen pressure, so I'm able to do more line cut type of look. Kind of a thick to thin thing. But you're drawing on just pure glass, so it's like your stylus goes skittering all over the place. Let's flip this. Flip. Horizontal. This is the Free Association Drawing Hour. I'm not doing this for an hour. Starting to get hungry. Oh, that's good. Eat when you're hungry. It's interesting, this brush. I don't really ever use this particular drawing brush, but it does behave like a big fat pencil sometimes. You can still shade with it, that's good. Am back. They're back. They're back. This is my free association piece that I'm working on. It's strange. It's not based on anything. I'm just ready to cook. Oh, that's it. I do have to take a break. You said that. I was like just talking about how freaking hungry I was, and then you said that. Man. I don't know if I want to save that though. Let's just set it aside, and it'll be good to. Yeah. Oh man, I'm glad that form is working. I don't know if nobody else has said anything. Maybe nobody else has signed up for it, which is fine. Let me do something. Set up a lunchtime break scenario. Maybe. I think that I did one Ariel as Cthulhu. That was fun. Horns. Stop. Horns. There we go. Let's see if this works. That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. A good day to you speculative art fans and just generally nice people of the internet. This is Bob Crumb. I'm back with another video about possibly what it would look like. It's definitely not working. It's definitely not working. Oh, I know why. Here's my, you can check out, what do you call it?
To have a Disney princess turn into some kind of creature feature monster and have to be hunted by the otherwise antagonist of the film now.
Check it out. This is what it looks like. Why is it not doing it? Alec, you help. You help me. Oh, now we're there. Now we're there. Alright, I'm taking a lunch break.
Become protagonist. This time around, we're going to delve into one of my favorite authors, inspired by another of my favorite authors, H.P. Lovecraft. So you guys know I've already read from Lovecraft once in one of my videos. I've also read from Poe in another one of my videos, and Lovecraft was influenced by Poe. In fact, in his earlier career, probably overly much, tried to sound a whole lot like Edgar Allan Poe, but later found his voice, and his voice was absolutely terrifying, but not in the way that you think typically terrifying stuff is, like ghost stories or spooky or slasher films or spooky or anything like that. He kind of engaged in a cosmic horror type of thing, which we are definitely going to talk about, and I will definitely read from The Call of Cthulhu before we're done with this whole thing. So I've chosen, based on a couple of the comments, to use Little Mermaid as Cthulhu. There were some ideas about maybe the creature from the Black Lagoon, the creature from the Black Lagoon, easy for you to say, you silver-tongued devil. But I really like the idea of Cthulhu because I'm a huge fan, and it's kind of a lot older of a tale. The original story of the Little Mermaid, Ariel, actually bears some strange resemblance to the movie that Disney made, where Ariel was the youngest of a bunch of daughters of King Triton, the Mer King, and they were all, when they hit 15 years old, allowed one at a time to go up to the surface and check it out and kind of see what they're missing. And then you never be allowed to really go back up there. And on her particular birthday, Ariel was allowed to go up, and she was stoked already, having heard many tales of exciting stuff up there, and it's kind of reflected in the film as well. So she goes up, she finds a ship, and is watching a birthday celebration for this guy, and the guy is attractive, and so she immediately falls in love with this guy. But she also falls in love with the idea of just being on land, with having legs and not being down there anymore. It's really actually the way I kind of like to think of the story, because, you know, just falling in love with a dude on first sight is kind of lame. So the birthday party is raging on the ship, and a storm comes out of nowhere and begins to just obliterate the ship, and everyone on board is tossed, and the Little Mermaid decides to save this prince. So she grabs him up, she takes him all the way to shore because she knows he can't swim, got no fins, can't breathe water. So takes him all the way to the shore to where like a temple is on the side of the shore, and deposits him there. And he has been, up until now, very unconscious. So he didn't know he just got saved by a beautiful mermaid. So as she puts him down there, he awakens, and there's another woman already there. In fact, there's a few there that are studying at this temple. He immediately assumes that the first woman he sees is the one who saved his life, and falls in love with her. I know, super implausible. So she goes on kind of her own little odyssey and consults a sea witch, just like she did in the movie. But in Hans Christian Andersen's tale, she gives up her voice, her beautiful voice, for a potion that she'll drink. And when she arrives near the prince, she'll be able to drink the potion, and she will have legs. There's a cost, not just the cost of her voice that she gave up. It will be like a sword passing through your body. That's the horrible imagery that kind of Hans Christian Andersen wrote into this thing. If you want legs, Little Mermaid, it'll be that painful to get your legs. And then, forevermore, you will be able to dance beautifully, but it'll be like you're dancing on the edges of sharp blades. Excruciating pain, just to even walk. Another part of the curse from the Sea Witch was not only that she would give up her voice, but also that there was a time limit. There was a timer put on this whole gift of her legs, that if she couldn't make this guy fall in love with her, or at least any human fall in love with her by a certain amount of time, that she would die, that she would immediately turn into sea foam, and that'd be the end. She does decide it's worth it. So she goes up to the shore to find this prince. Basically, after drinking the potion, this Little Mermaid is kind of just second fiddle the entire time to this person who saved his life. They go ahead, they do some dating and some courting and all this nonsense, but in the end, he really decides that he doesn't want to be with anyone except for the woman who saved him. In fact, at one point, it is an arranged marriage that he's forced to become a part of, and in some kind of delicious twist of weird Hans Christian Andersen irony, he says, "I will only fall in love with the woman who saved me at the beach." Unbeknownst to him, the woman who did save him at the beach was actually the princess that he was supposed to marry, and this got all really surprisingly convoluted because the whole time, the actual person that saved him was not a person, was a mermaid, and drama. So much drama. So the story goes that mermaids live about 300 years and the humans considerably less, but when a human dies, their immortal soul is able to go to the kingdom of heaven. Whereas when a mermaid dies, they become sea foam and nothing happens to them. So it is a bleak and empty existence. She doesn't, in the end, wind up getting him to fall in love with her. He is going to go through with the marriage to this other woman who really didn't save him, this princess. And so, knowing that she's going to have to just die in sea foam, her sisters gave up something of their own. They give up their own hair. They go down to the sea witch and they cut off all their hair, which seems actually a pretty simple thing to do. I mean, hair grows back. They cut off all their hair and they get a blade with which the Little Mermaid can go and slay the prince. If she slays the prince with the blade, she will be allowed to come back into the Sea Kingdom, have her tail back, and not have to turn into foam immediately, and that is a far better solution for her family. Sorry, Prince, you get the kind of shaft on that whole thing. So she's given this blade, and she actually is able to go up to him at night while he is sleeping next to his new bride, but she can't do it. She throws the knife overboard, and she jumps and becomes one with the sea foam and just dies. And that's actually the original ending that Hans Christian Andersen wrote. There is another ending that he wrote after that he was much more happy with, wherein she becomes a daughter of the air immediately because of her good deeds and is allowed to do more good deeds for 300 years to gain an eternal soul and be able to go to the kingdom of heaven, which is super incongruent with the rest of the tale and a little strange that he backpedaled on that one. The original tale had some weight to it and some gravity, a little bit sad. I'm not entirely sure it was really meant for kids, and I'm not entirely sure that there's actually a moral to that tale. I'm going to read a little bit of the Call of Cthulhu, and we're going to see that there is a group of people, not the cultists, who are actually trying to investigate this whole thing. They get themselves a ship. The ship is called the Alert. And they go out into the South Pacific with a bunch of clues and an idol and all kinds of stuff to see if they can find the portal through which this fabled Cthulhu is meant to be birthed back into the world. They know it's going to be a big creature. They don't know like what its aim will be. They're pretty sure it's not nice, but they're still pretty bold about it, and they're going to go do this. And that's where I'm going to pick up the tale. An excerpt from The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. The aperture was black with a darkness almost material. That tenebrousness was indeed a positive quality, for it obscured such parts of the inner walls as ought to have been revealed, and actually burst forth like smoke from its eon-like imprisonment, visibly darkening the sun as it slunk away from the shrunken and gibbous sky on flapping membranous wings. The odor arising from the newly opened depths was intolerable, and at length the quick-eared Hawkins thought he heard a nasty slopping sound down there. Everyone listened, and everyone was listening still when it lumbered slobberingly into sight and gropingly squeezed its gelatinous green immensity through the black doorway into the tainted outside air of that poisoned city of madness. Poor Johansen's handwriting almost gave out when he wrote of this. Of the 6 men who never reached the ship, he thinks 2 perished of pure fright in that accursed instant. The thing cannot be described. There is no language for such abysms of shrieking in immemorial lunacy, such eldritch contradictions of all matter, force, and cosmic order. A mountain walked or stumbled. God, what wonder that across the earth a great architect went mad and poor Wilcox raved with fear in that telepathic instant. The thing of the idols, the green, sticky spawn of the stars, had awakened to claim his own. The stars were right again. And what an age-old cult had failed to do by design, a band of innocent sailors had done by accident. After vigintillions of years, great Cthulhu was loose again and ravening for delight. 3 men were swept up by the flabby claws before anybody turned. God rest them, if there be any rest in the universe. They were Donovan, Guerrera, and Angstrom. Parker slipped as the other 3 were plunging frenziedly over the endless vistas of green-crusted rock to the boat, and Johansen swears he was swallowed up by an angle of masonry which shouldn't have been there, an angle which was acute, but behaved as if it were obtuse. So only Bryden and Johansen reached the boat, and pulled desperately for the Alert as the mountainous monstrosity flopped down the slimy stones and hesitated flounderingly at the edge of the water. Steam had not been suffered to go down entirely, despite the departure of all hands for the shore, and it was the work of only a few moments of feverish rushing up and down between wheel and engines to get the Alert underway. Slowly, amidst the distorted horrors of that indescribable scene, she began to churn the lethal waters, whilst on the masonry of that charnel shore that was not of earth, the Titan Thing from the stars slavered and gibbered like Polypheme cursing the fleeting ship of Odysseus. Then, bolder than the storied Cyclops, great Cthulhu slid greasily into the water and began to pursue with vast, wave-raising strokes of cosmic potency. Bryden looked back and went mad, laughing shrilly as he kept on laughing at intervals till death found him one night in the cabin whilst Johansen was wandering deliriously. But Johansen had not given out yet. Knowing that the thing could surely overtake the Alert until steam was fully up, he resolved on desperate chance, and setting the engine for full speed, ran lightning-like on deck and reversed the wheel. There was a mighty eddying and foaming in the noisome brine, and the steam mounted higher and higher. The brave Norwegian drove his vessel head-on against the pursuing jelly, which rose above unclean froth like the stern of a demon galleon. The awful squid head, with writhing feelers, came nearly up to the bowsprit of the sturdy yacht, but Johansen drove on relentlessly. There was a bursting as of an exploding bladder, a slushy nastiness as of a cloven sunfish, a stench as of 1,000 open graves, and a sound that a chronicler would not put on paper. For an instant the ship was befouled by an acrid and blinding green cloud, and then there was only a venomous seething astern, where, God in heaven, the scattered plasticity of that nameless sky spawn was nebulously recombining in its hateful original form, whilst its distance widened every second as the Alert gained impetus from its mounting steam. That was all. After that, Johansen only brooded over the idol in the cabin and attended to a few matters of food for himself and the laughing maniac by his side. He did not try to navigate after the first bold flight, for the reaction had taken something out of his soul. Then came the storm of April 2nd. In a gathering of the clouds about his consciousness, there is a sense of spectral whirling through liquid gulfs of infinity, of dizzying rides through reeling universes on a comet's tail, and of hysterical plunges from the pit to the moon and from the moon back again to the pit, all livened by a cachinnate chorus of distorted, hilarious elder gods and the green bat-wing mocking imps of Tartarus. Out of that dream came rescue, the Vigilant, the Vice Admiralty Court, the streets of Dunedin, and the long voyage back home to the old house by the Egeberg. He could not tell. They would think him mad. He would write of what he knew before death came, but his wife must not guess. Death would be a boon if only he could blot out the memories. That was the document I read, and now I have placed in this tin box beside the bas-relief the papers of Professor Engel. With it shall go the record of mine, this test of my own sanity, wherein is pieced together that which I hope may never be pieced together again. I have looked upon all that the universe has to hold of horror, and even the skies of spring and the flowers of summer must ever afterward be poison to me. But I do not think my life will be long. As my uncle went, as poor Johansen went, so shall I go. I know too much, and the cult still lives. Cthulhu still lives too, I suppose. Again, in that chasm of stone which has shielded him since the sun was young, his accursed city is sunken once more, for the Vigilant sailed over that spot after the April storm, but his ministers on earth still below and prance and slay around idol-capped monoliths in lonely places. He must have been trapped by the sinking whilst within his black abyss, or else the world would by now be screaming with fright and frenzy. Who knows the end? What has risen may sink, and what has sunk may rise. Loathsomeness awaits and dreams in the deep, and decay spreads over the tottering cities of men. A time will come, but I must not and cannot think. Let me pray that, if I do not survive this manuscript, my executors may put caution before audacity, and see that it meets no other eye. In the story, Cthulhu is described as being a dragon, squid type of thing with feelers on their face. And so we never really given like an actual description, but there are some weird little bits and bobs that the fandom has put together over the years, and you can Google it and see just a bazillion different kinds of Cthulhu, but they all pretty much have this tentacly face thing and is green. Those are the descriptions were given even in brief. So I started painting her skin green, and it felt right until I started, really developing it later on and seeing that perhaps a little bit more of a human skin tone will make this a little bit more identifiable, because right now it may just look like Cthulhu has red hair. And so, and the mermaid tail that comes up out of the water kind of sells it as well. But the prince is standing on the prow of the ship, turned to meet Cthulhu. As they did in the story, the Alert is turned about and they ram Cthulhu's great gelatinous belly, and it destroys him utterly, but he begins to reform immediately. But by then, the Alert is skedaddle out of there. they have decided, I don't want to wait around to see what the sequel is. Let him reform and just hang out here in the middle of the freaking Pacific. You know, as I read that, I'm sure no one was like severely quaking in their boots or anything. It's not meant to be like Michael Myers' Halloween horror scary. It's a lot different. It's a horror without rules. Cosmic horror is like the difference between the movie Alien and the movie Aliens. Cosmic horror is like Alien. We don't know the rules. We know we're definitely got the underhand. We're terrified of all these things we don't understand. Strange geometries, great old ones, a place in the universe that is completely insignificant compared to all these other powers. And then we arrive at Aliens 2. Aliens is a film more action-y than anything else. You know the rules now. When you get these other horror films and you actually know how to fight back against the monster, you know perhaps what to do because now science is involved. And so Alien, you're terrified of this alien. You only see it around corners. You almost never get a glimpse of it. It's ravaging things. You're not even sure what its weaknesses are. But in Aliens, you know, there's guns, there's nukes, there's steam hatches, whatever. The rules are more defined. So cosmic horror combined with Disney princess yields this kind of weirdness in that I gave her kind of a somber, kind of dopey look, like she just woken up and she's just like raising a hand, maybe to squash or maybe to grab, or maybe I don't know what's going on in her face, but it felt a little bit like she was raising up and trying to figure out what she was going to do about this. So there's a lot of blue and green in this thing, and I had to really push the red in her hair and the red on the ship to kind of balance out in a color harmony way, because there's a whole lot of her that could be lost in those waves in the greenness. And I really start to solve some of that with some high contrast lightning and some darkening of shapes, because it ought to be really spooky. The shape on the sails of this ship is actually harkening back to something called the Elder Sign. It's a glyph that H.P. Lovecraft himself designed as part of the mythos of this universe. You know, it's like an important symbol to fight against these great old ones and their overwhelming nature. Basically, the only thing that they thought they could fight back with was magic, and this Elder Sign was part of it. And so I jammed that on the sail, but it's kind of like an homage, but it's actually kind of an ugly symbol. I didn't know what else to do with it, but it's on there for good or ill. Lovecraft himself was actually pretty tortured. It seems like everyone I enjoy reading, whether it's Mary Shelley, or Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft, they're all kind of tortured. He grew up in his parents. One of them went mad, and the other one died, so he was raised by aunts who eventually went mad. His wife, her father went mad, and possibly from syphilis and whatever. There was a whole lot of weird madness going on, and it kind of shaped H.P. Lovecraft's early life to be more and more depressed and prone to crazy bouts of tics and anguish. And as such, he hated most of his school, probably got bullied because he's a weird guy and pretty intelligent. But it kind of brought out in him this need to attack normalcy. He didn't want to just tell the normal scary story. He wanted to tell the cosmic horror story, but he didn't become famous for it until after he died. So in the end, I think we've come up with the strangest of these Disney princess videos yet. It is bizarre in the way we created it. It really pushes the antagonist into the background and makes the monster like absolutely monstrous. And in a way, it's as different from the other ones as H.P. Lovecraft's writing is to all other horror genre writing.
Maybe sound back, maybe desktop sound back. All right, I made a peanut butter and honey sandwich, but like for the last, I don't know how long, we've had peanut butter and jelly, or not peanut butter and jelly, the honey in the house was like crystallized and really easy to spread, and I made the total mistake of assuming it was the same kind of consistency. Boy, did I make a mess. It was kind of hideous, so we don't want to be looking at my Discord anymore. There's my, I don't know what the heck that is. Bye-bye. Let's open I imagined it better because I could stand to work more on that. Mr. Bob Grown, fantasy sci-fi. Sometimes I look right at a thing and I still don't see it. Alright, yeah, it still sucks. It doesn't suck. Dang it. It just looks so disconnected. And all that blue that I just put in there looks a little too creepy. So I'm going to start over on the color by, whoops, yeah, I still want that. No, I don't. I put a mask on there and it's not what I was looking for. What I was looking for, delete, is this gradient map. Turns everything black and white. It's actually a pretty nice diagnostic tool. And then I can kind of grab the areas I wanted to work on, that I wanted to pay attention to. And it's really just this, right? And I can refine this a little bit in a sec. I always screw this up. White? Aha! I want the opposite. Nope. Now, okay. So, what can I do about the color? The tone is already difficult. You know what I mean? It's just like a big stripe right down the middle. This one's really throwing me for a loop. Let's do ourselves the favor and find the one. This wasn't it, was it? No. I had this really great brush that I did this whole thing in up until, and then I decided to change it up because I was going to do a drawing. No, it's nowhere. Not that, not that. It's a pencil. Content. See, these are nice, and I've done entire paintings with those, but I don't want to do that on this one. If I could remember what it's called. See, if I find it... Oh, nope, that's not the one. Kind of looks like that, but the other one, if I turn it, it turns with it. It turns with my wrist. Oh, is this it? I doubt it. It doesn't turn. There it is. Let's rename it. Nope. Rename brush. Flat. Paintbrush. And I'm going to name it with a 001. So it'll show up like at the top of the list, hopefully. I'm so smart. I'm so bright, my mama called me son. Alright. This should be pretty helpful. Better. Yeah. Okay. It kind of forces. I still don't know what the focal point of this thing's going to be. Just going to do it. Just flatten those layers. All right. Make it. Oh, that's not minty looking. Minty looking. Is this more minty looking? Yeah. Too bright. Yeah, that's more minty looking. Well, that's stevia. If I can keep this a little bit the same. No, that just makes it more. All right. Here's my reference. There it is. That's not my reference. No, I don't want to save that. See how warm that is? That's what I was trying to get at when I first started this thing, but I was just too aggressive. Alright, this will maybe do it. Just backing way off. What is this Kenny G crap? It was terrible. Nobody wants to listen to Kenny G anymore. This isn't the 90s.
snuggle up close to the shell I'm living in. And if I let you in, another round begins. No, I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. But what if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? But what if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side.
Should I be scared? The feeling's so different now. You got me floating here, a feather in the air. Oh, but when the wind blows, will I tumble or sail away? Or would you have me stay? And what if I escape? I know
I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. But what if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? And what if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side, by your side. I'm not afraid. We found something that'll never fade. We can be ourselves and figure out the rest along the way. But what if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? And what if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side.
I need you by my side.
I need you by my side. what you think about. When you're born into a fire, let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the
Weird, my microphone's picking up like desktop audio. That's weird.
There once was a ship that put to sea. The
What?
name of the ship
No.
was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Below me, bully boys blow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring.
Why is this even on this freaking... What? What is this gonna be? Can never tell. Excuse me. Man, it's been way too long fiddling with this. Yeah, I think that that's enough looking at that piece for now. The frustration is running pretty deep. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. Right now it doesn't look like stone. I mean, like, if it's going to look like stone, it's going to be a lot sharper corners, and that's, yeah, which means a totally different brush or a tiny brush. And, I just don't have it in me. Not right now. Not for a bit here. This is not atypical. Yeah, I mean, like this here, this looks so... Like, this should all not be here. Like this bit. Am I crazy? Maybe I put too much warm into this. So yeah, it's gonna be, right now it looks like total student effort piece. It's not, no, this is not ready for the prime time. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and cash it in so I can maybe sleep on it, figure it out. Probably will not be back to it tomorrow because I have one client that dominates all the Tuesday. So yeah, I sure appreciate you guys hanging out, and hopefully I'll see you around. Alex sent me the thing. You were going to send me a thing.